Yo, what's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button right now because we're breaking down the absolute craziness happening in Cleveland right now. We're talking about the Browns quarterback controversy that's taking over the internet, and honestly, the more you watch, the more it makes zero sense. So if you want to stay updated on all the wildest NFL drama as it happens, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers and every single one of you helps us grow this thing. So let's get into it. Alright, so let me set the scene for you because if you haven't been paying attention to what's happening in Cleveland, you are missing one of the most baffling quarterback decisions in recent NFL history. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, has made a choice that's got the entire city questioning his sanity. He's benching Shedeur Sanders, a rookie quarterback that everyone and their mama believes should be starting, while keeping Dillon Gabriel under center. And look, I'm not saying Dillon Gabriel is trash. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that the decision to keep benching Sanders, while Gabriel continues to put up some of the most uninspiring performances you've ever seen, is absolutely wild. Let's talk about what we actually saw on the field. Dillon Gabriel took 52 passing attempts in one game. 52. The man was getting sacked 6 times. His quarterback rating was sitting at 34, and he looked completely lost out there. And you know what Kevin Stefanski said after that performance? He said Dillon gave them the best chance to win. The best chance to win? Are you kidding me right now? You've got to be joking. The dude threw the ball 52 times and looked like he was playing for the first time in his life, and you're telling me that's the best chance? Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is sitting on the bench looking polished, looking ready, looking electric, and nobody can explain why he's not getting opportunities. Here's where it gets even crazier. When you actually break down the film, Gabriel's making throws that he absolutely shouldn't be making in those situations. He's on the road, he's a rookie, the offense is already struggling to move the football, and he's out there trying to thread these impossible passes instead of taking what the defense is giving him. Out of 52 attempts, analysts counted 10 throws that looked pretty good. 10 out of 52. That's a completion percentage that would get you benched in high school, let alone the NFL. But somehow Stefanski looks at that and thinks, yeah, this is my guy. This is who's gonna lead us forward. Now, if you actually go back and watch Shedeur Sanders' tape from his college days, particularly at Oregon, you see a completely different animal. This is a quarterback who was threading passes through double and triple coverage, who was making decisions that had him looking like a field general out there. His 2 touchdown passes from the Carolina game, both of them were threaded through traffic that nobody else would even attempt. He's got that swagger, that confidence, that I believe in my ability mentality. And when you compare that to Dillon Gabriel playing it safe, playing it conservative, basically just trying not to look too bad, it's like comparing a Ferrari to a rusty tractor sitting in a driveway. The fans in Cleveland have completely lost their minds over this, and I mean that in a serious way. This isn't just typical internet overreaction. This is a fan base that's been through everything. They've seen quarterback carousels that would make your head spin. They've watched playoff collapses that could break your spirit. They've survived heartbreaks that should have sent them to therapy. But this is different. This is a level of frustration that you can feel through the screen. The Free Shedeur movement went viral. Hashtags, memes, TikToks, fan art, full-blown digital uprising. People are photoshopping him into highlight reels just to imagine what could be. That's how desperate this city is for a spark. And let me tell you something about Cleveland fans. These are people who once booed Santa Claus. You know what that means? These people don't have patience for nonsense. Once the crowd turns on you, once the vibe shifts, it's over. There's no coming back from that. And right now, the vibe in Cleveland is shifting in a direction that Stefanski might not recover from. The man is walking a tight rope with no safety net. Every shaky pass from Gabriel makes that rope thinner and thinner. Every press conference where he defends his decision to keep Gabriel under center is just adding fuel to the fire. Let's talk about the strategy here, because this is where it gets interesting. From a purely strategic standpoint, what is Stefanski actually doing? You've got a running back situation with Judkins that's actually pretty solid. The rushing game is working, but in the game where Gabriel threw 52 times, they only rushed the ball 17 times the entire game. 17 times. So instead of establishing the run, instead of playing a balanced game, they're asking a struggling rookie to carry the entire offense. They're putting him in impossible situations, and then when he fails, when he looks overwhelmed, Stefanski acts surprised, like he didn't orchestrate the whole thing. The narrative that Stefanski's been pushing doesn't hold any water when you actually look at what's happening. He keeps saying it's not personal with Shedeur. He keeps saying it's about what gives them the best chance to win. But if that's true, then explain the logic to me. Explain how 52 passing attempts and a quarterback rating of 34 is the best chance to win anything. Explain how benching a quarterback who was threading passes through triple coverage in college is somehow the right move. The numbers don't lie. The film doesn't lie. Everything points to one conclusion. Stefanski either doesn't like Shedeur Sanders on a personal level, or he doesn't actually know how to evaluate quarterback talent. And here's the thing that really gets me. This whole situation started because of the Joe Flacco trade. Remember that? 1 week, Joe Flacco was the Browns' miracle man. The city literally crowned him a legend overnight because he gave them some hope. The next week, he's gone. Gone without a goodbye wave, and the message was clear. We're moving forward, not backward. We're going with the youth. We're going with the future. But then the future is sitting on the bench, while a guy who looks completely overwhelmed is getting every opportunity in the world. That's not moving forward, that's moving sideways into a wall. What's wild is that you can see what's happening in that locker room. The players know it. The coaches know it. Even the people in the front office probably know it when a backup quarterback starts trending on Twitter every single week without even playing, when fans are chanting for him before halftime, when the entire stadium turns toward the bench after every bad play. You already know something's wrong. That's not normal. That's not the energy you want around your team. That's the energy of a team that's about to implode. And the crazy part, this could all flip in one night. One breakout game from Shedeur Sanders. One moment where he steps on the field and just takes over. And suddenly Stefanski is a genius who trusted the process. But until that happens, he's the villain in this story. He's the guy making the baffling decisions. He's the guy questioning the setup instead of executing it. He's the guy who had a perfectly good quarterback and decided to ship him off because he was scared of change. Let me break down what we know about these two quarterbacks from a pure talent perspective. When you watch both of their films, when you sit down and actually study how they move, how they make decisions, how they handle pressure, it's not even close. Shedeur Sanders is operating on a different level. He's got that confidence that you can't teach, that swagger that comes from believing in your own abilities. He's willing to take risks, willing to trust his arm, willing to put the ball where only his guy can get it. Dillon Gabriel, he's checking the box. He's doing what he's told. He's trying not to make mistakes instead of trying to make plays. Now, I'm not saying Gabriel's a bad person or a bad football player, but I am saying that in this situation with this team at this moment, he's not the answer. And the fact that Stefanski can't see that, the fact that he's doubling down on a guy who's clearly struggling, that's the real issue. That's where the problem lies. Because when a coach loses faith in his decision-making ability, when players start to doubt him, when fans completely turn on him, that's when organizations fall apart. And I'm watching this happen in real time with the Browns. The Cleveland Browns have officially entered what I'm calling the what on earth are we doing era. And it's not just the quarterback situation, it's everything. The penalties are supposedly way down. That's what Stefanski keeps saying. Penalties are way down despite playing 13 rookies. Okay, cool. But the team still looks unprepared. The team still looks undisciplined. The team still looks like they don't know what they're doing. And that starts with coaching. That starts with preparation. That starts with having a vision and executing it. And right now, the vision seems to be throw 52 times and hope something sticks. Let's talk about the pressure that Dillon Gabriel is under, because this is the human side of this situation. This kid is out there playing with the weight of an entire city's doubt sitting on his shoulders. Every snap, every read, every incompletion is magnified 1,000 times. He's not just battling 11 defenders on the field. He's battling a ghost. The ghost of what could be if Shedeur Sanders were under center. You can feel it in his body language. You can see it in how he's moving, like a man desperate to prove something bigger than stats. And that's not fair to him. That's not fair to any quarterback. But that's what happens when your coach makes questionable decisions. The uncertainty bleeds into everything. The truth is, Dillon Gabriel is trying. You can see the grind. You can see the footwork. You can see the determination. But the NFL doesn't care about effort. It only respects wins. And right now, Cleveland's running out of both time and patience. The offense looks like it's being coordinated by a committee of interns with a Wi-Fi problem. Nothing's connecting. Nothing's flowing. It's just chaos with a playbook. And the longer this goes on, the worse it's going to get. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to see one more game where Dillon Gabriel struggles. One more game where the offense looks completely lost. One more game where fans are chanting for Shedeur Sanders from the stands. And then after that game, I think Stefanski's going to wake up and realize that his job is actually on the line. Not his job as a head coach necessarily, but his credibility, his authority, his ability to lead this team. Because at that point, it won't be about football anymore. It'll be about survival. It'll be about doing what's necessary to save his own skin. And when ownership starts asking questions, when the front office starts getting phone calls from local media asking if there's going to be a change, that's when things move fast. That's when decisions that seemed unthinkable a week ago become inevitable. But by then, how much damage will have been done to Dillon Gabriel? How much damage will have been done to the chemistry of this team? How much damage will have been done to the faith that fans have in this organization? That's the real cost of Stefanski's stubbornness. The worst part about all of this is that it didn't have to be this way. Stefanski could have come out and said, we're going to evaluate both quarterbacks. We're going to see who gives us the best chance to win week by week. We're going to be objective about this. Instead, he came out and basically said, I'm riding with Dillon no matter what. And that message got heard. That message created the expectation. And now every time Gabriel has a bad game, every time the offense stalls, that message bounces back at Stefanski like a boomerang. Let's look at this from a bigger picture perspective. The Cleveland Browns have so much talent on this roster. The defense is playing well, the running game has potential, the offensive line is solid. They've got the pieces. They've got everything they need to be competitive. What they don't have is a coach brave enough to make the necessary changes, and that's going to cost them this season. That's going to cost them playoffs. That's going to cost them a chance to actually compete in this division. The Baltimore Ravens aren't going anywhere. The Pittsburgh Steelers aren't falling apart. If Cleveland wants to stay relevant in the AFC North, they need consistency, they need competence, they need a quarterback who's making plays, and a coach who's actually helping him succeed instead of sabotaging him. And right now, they've got neither of those things. They've got a coach who seems committed to proving a point instead of winning games. And I keep coming back to this because it's the most important thing. When you actually compare the film, when you actually sit down and watch both of these guys play, it's not even a debate. Shedeur Sanders is the better football player. He's got better instincts. He's got better mobility. He's got better decision making. He's got that it factor that separates good quarterbacks from great ones. And the fact that he's on the bench while Dillon Gabriel is getting 52 passing attempts is just indefensible. You can't defend that decision based on football alone. The only way you can defend it is if you're arguing something else. If you're arguing that Stefanski doesn't like him. If you're arguing that it's about personality. If you're arguing that it's about proving a point. But none of those are good reasons to bench a talented quarterback. None of those are reasons that win championships. None of those are reasons that make fans believe in you as a coach. And that's where Stefanski is right now. He's lost the locker room. He's lost the fan base. The only thing he hasn't lost yet is his job. And at the rate he's going, that's coming sooner rather than later. The storyline has become bigger than football at this point. It's become narrative. It's become drama. Every sports talk show is tearing Stefanski apart. Every analyst is calling it a disaster. Ex-players are jumping into the chaos with their hot takes. It's become its own living, breathing story. The stubborn coach, the benched prodigy, the restless city, every new headline just adds another chapter to this soap opera. And where better for the drama to unfold than Cleveland, the capital of heartbreak and hope colliding? Because here's the thing about Cleveland. Football isn't just a sport. It's full-blown theater. High stakes. Unpredictable. Sometimes straight-up tragic theater. Every decision feels like a plot twist. Every week, the script gets messier. And the people in that city, they live and breathe it. They feel it in their bones. They've been disappointed so many times that disappointment is almost comforting. But this is different. This is an opportunity being squandered. This is potential being wasted. And that hits different. When this whole thing is over, when everything eventually shakes out, the same fans who are calling for Stefanski's head right now will be rewriting history. They'll be claiming they always believed in his long-term vision. The front office will spin fancy speeches about trusting the process. But deep down, everyone will know the truth. It wasn't strategy. It was desperation dressed up as patience. It was ego dressed up as principle. It was fear dressed up as leadership. And that's the real Cleveland story right there. Chaotic, emotional, impossible to look away from. Because in this city, every snap feels like a cliffhanger. And right now, Kevin Stefanski is the main character in a drama that might just end with him being written out of the script for good. The countdown to his coaching obituary might have already started ticking. And if that happens, if Stefanski eventually gets fired or removed from his position, Shedeur Sanders is going to get his shot. And when he does, the narrative will flip completely. But here's what really keeps me up at night about this whole situation. What if Shedeur Sanders does get his chance, and he does what everyone thinks he's going to do? What if he steps on that field and just takes over? What if he starts threading passes like he did at Oregon? What if he shows that swagger and confidence and just elevates the entire team? Then what? Then everyone's gonna look back at this moment and ask, why did we waste all that time? And Stefanski's gonna be the answer to that question. He's gonna be the cautionary tale. He's gonna be the example of how ego and stubbornness can derail an entire organization. Or, and this is the other side of it, what if Shedeur Sanders doesn't pan out? What if he gets his shot and struggles? What if he's not the savior everyone thinks he is? Then Stefanski gets vindicated somehow, even though his process was completely wrong. He'd be right for all the wrong reasons. And that's the interesting part about this situation. We don't actually know how it's going to end. We just know how it's trending. And right now, it's trending toward chaos. The more I think about this, the more I realize this is about more than just quarterback evaluation. This is about organizational philosophy. This is about how the Browns are approaching their rebuild. Are they going to trust their draft picks? Are they going to develop the young talent? Are they going to commit to a vision? Or are they going to keep going in circles? Because that's what they've been doing for years. They get a new coach. That coach makes decisions. Those decisions don't work out. The coach gets fired. A new coach comes in, rinse and repeat. And maybe Stefanski is different. Maybe he's got a grand plan that we can't see yet. Maybe he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. But if that's the case, he needs to communicate that. He needs to make the fan base understand what he's doing. Because right now, it just looks like he's making it up as he goes. It just looks like he's guiding an organization that's spiraling out of control. And that's not a good look for anybody. The pressure is mounting. You can feel it in the air. Players sense it. Coaches whisper about it. Even the mascot probably feels the awkward vibes. When there's this much tension in an organization, when there's this much dysfunction, it starts to show up in every aspect of the team. It shows up on the field, it shows up in the locker room, it shows up in the media, and it shows up in the results. And the Browns' results have not been great. So here's where we stand. Kevin Stefanski has made a choice. He's committed to Dillon Gabriel. He's benching Shedeur Sanders. The fans don't like it. The media doesn't understand it. And the only way this gets resolved is if the results change, or Stefanski changes his mind. And based on what we've seen so far, neither of those things seems likely to happen anytime soon. So we're just gonna keep watching this unfold. We're gonna keep seeing the chaos. We're gonna keep hearing the calls for change. And eventually something's going to give. But until that happens, Cleveland is going to keep being Cleveland. They're going to keep believing. They're going to keep hoping. They're going to keep dreaming that maybe this year is different. That maybe this time things actually work out. And somewhere in all that, Shedeur Sanders is going to get his shot. And when he does, the entire city is going to hold its breath. Because in Cleveland, hope is a currency. And right now, they're spending it all on a kid sitting on the bench waiting for his opportunity. And honestly, who could blame them? Because after everything this city has been through, they deserve better than this. They deserve a coach who makes good decisions. They deserve a team that's prepared and disciplined. They deserve a quarterback who gives them a chance to win. And maybe, just maybe, that quarterback's name is Shedeur Sanders. Alright, that's what I've got for you on this situation. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Drop a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think is going to happen with the Browns. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the latest NFL drama. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers and you're helping us get there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.